And it has grown into what it is today, which is still pretty damn bad.
Yeah, but no one's dying because you spit on them.
But your ego is.
Yes.
Right? Your ego is. And it's a cheap, dirty thing that guys do who have no other play. And that's the problem with it. Now, with that said, is that worse than a guy getting leveled over the middle of the blue line and concussed for 3 weeks? Probably not.
Well, this is the part of the story that, listen, spitting on another human being, you are asking for an ass kicking.
Yep.
Or you're so tough that you don't care, that you will dust the person. But that wasn't Hathaway, because he was holding on to Gudbranson, who was going to kick his ass. I'll just say this. The spitting in the face is a match penalty and a hearing. How many things have you seen go on in a hockey game that you thought should have been a match penalty and or a hearing that weren't? But the spitting in the face is.
Brad Marchand licking a guy. In theory, it's the same thing. It's saliva-driven. Somebody just tweeted in. It was a great point. It's saliva-driven.
I would like to hear from saliva-driven. It is driven saliva in Hathaway's case. I don't know if it's driven in it is pushed upon.
Whether the saliva is driven or gently placed, it's the same thing.
I don't know.
What's the difference?
There's more disrespect in the spit than there is in the lick. I'm going to say this.
Okay, I think you're right.
Let's hear from Garnet Hathaway on his explanation.
Let's hear from him.
On what happened when Gudbranson grabbed him, hit him in the mouth, and then his mouth expelled a certain saliva that we're talking about.
Saliva.
I felt like there was a couple sucker punches thrown, and I got one there quick, and then I reacted a little emotionally, and unfortunately, spit came out of my mouth after I got sucker punched, and I went on to him.
Okay.
Wait a second.
Hold on.
Wait a second. Unfortunately, I hawked a loogie after I got sucker punched, aimed it properly, and it hit you. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate that all those things
I don't
happen.
even think he said he aimed. I got it right in front of me, 6-0. Unfortunately, spit came out of my mouth after I got sucker punched, and it went on to him.
Goodness.
That might be the greatest excuse of all time.
I can't wait for the hearing tomorrow with the league. Garnet Hathaway's on the phone or in person. I don't know what it's going to be, but he's like, "Look, I just spit in that direction, and he was there.
No,
there's nothing I could have done about it.
I don't even think he said he spit. He said, "Unfortunately, spit came out of my mouth."
Spit came out of the mouth.
This might be one of the greatest quotes in the history of hockey. Unfortunately, spit came out of my mouth.
It's a correct quote.
After I got sucker punched,
right?
And it went on like as if the sucker punch had released the saliva from his mouth. Said saliva spun, did a 180 in air, and reversed its course towards Gudbranson and landed on his face.
Are you telling me the rabbit punch played no role in excess saliva building in his mouth? Is that what you're suggesting to me?
That or excess saliva. I will accept both.
I think he's getting like 4 games here. This is a bad thing. And by the way, Brendan Leipzig started everything. He went in there like a crazy person. He was taking on like 4 dudes bigger than him. Leipzig went in there. I was almost impressed. It was insane how it started. So shout out Brendan Leipzig, who just went in there and took. It was like he was a small guy in a forest of trees. Like Anaheim had their biggest guys on the ice at the time. So he kind of started the whole thing. Really, he should be responsible as well.
Now, if Sam Darnold spit, I would be a little pissed off. Because he just got over mono, for those not knowing the reference.
Yeah, you don't want the mono.
Because you just stared at me like I said something. Sam Darnold, what the hell are you talking about?
Don't get the mono.
But I'm with Terry, who wrote in and said, I would take getting spit on over getting tagged in the Vinny Testaverdes. Like, I don't
know, man.
Like, are you kidding me?
Know.
I would take the spit over what Hathaway did the first time, which was drive his elbow into the head of Derek Grant as he hit the ice.
I think what we have...
Like, that should be part of the suspension that we're talking about.
That's worse.
And if you're doing that, then just fight a dude. And he had already kind of gone with Grant, who had already been drilled. Then he had his head hit the ice. Who knows if he's concussed? You fight him, and then you don't want to fight Gudbranson? Come on, man. He threw an elbow on the ground like he was friggin'... Whatever your favorite MMA fighter is. I was going to go
the people's elbow. You can go the people's elbow.
Was it a people's elbow?
I don't know if it was technically
it was
a people's
more of
elbow.
a grappling elbow that he threw.
It was more like an MMA in half mount elbow.
So I was going to go with our legacy, but I know that he's been retired for a while.
I've seen GSP destroy dudes in that position.
It was like it was a side mount, and he threw an elbow down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all of this is all ridiculous, and the spit is just the icing on the cake.
Right.
But it's not more dangerous than any of the other bleep that went on in that.
No, there was more dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
But the spitting hurts the ego more.
So then we should suspend for hurting the ego and not the head. Got it. Thank you, NHL.
That's the NHL, man.
Understood.
I think we need to have in this room today, we need to figure this out. One of us gets kicked in the groin. Mm-hmm. The other one gets spit on. Which one's worse?
Okay, can I spit?
No, I was nominating Dagan. Okay, we'll talk about it in the break.
Brooke wrote in and said, Hathaway sounds like the Seinfeld episode when Keith Hernandez hawked a loogie at Newman and Kramer.
There was no second spitter.
There was a second spitter.
There was no second spitter.
Hathaway will go to the hearing with the second spitter theory and wondering if it did indeed make the 180.
George Peros, it was unfortunate how he rabbit punched me and then the spit came out. I'm sorry.